So again, first part, we're looking for a compound, in this case, predicate. So on the Monday page, we looked for compound subjects, two things that the sentence was talking about. Predicates are what is the subject doing? Or what are they telling us about the subject? How are they describing it? So in this case, we want to look for a sentence that has two things the subject is doing or two things that they're saying about the subject. Sentence 1 says, on Christmas, many families go to church and visit relatives. Does sentence number 1 tell us about people doing two things? Should it get a check mark, or are people doing only one thing, or are they doing more than one thing in that sentence? Who can tell me? JD? They're doing more than one thing. What are they doing, JD? And there we go. There's two things. They're going to church, number 1. They're visiting relatives, number 2. So, sentence number 1 does get a check mark. Sentence number 2. The house is filled with wonderful aromas from a Christmas feast. In this case, our subject is the house. Are they telling us one thing about the house, or are they telling us two things about the house? Who can tell me? Are they saying one thing about the house or more than one? And really quickly, I want to talk about the word that they use because I really like it. The house is filled with wonderful aromas from a Christmas. What is an aroma? Because I like that word. It's not a word that you see a whole lot, but it is a very good word. Who thinks they know? What is an aroma? Who's ever heard that word before? Raise your hand if you've heard it. Word aroma. Okay, so some of us have heard it. Who can tell me, who wants to take a guess? What do you think an aroma is? They say the house is filled with wonderful aromas from a Christmas. Kaylee, what is an aroma? That's a great way to describe it. Aroma means a smell, but usually we use the word aroma for like really good smells. So we might use it for something like the way a garden smells when all the flowers are blooming and everything's very bright and all the flowers are finally grown. Or in this case, they're using it when they talk about food. Like sometimes when you walk into the house and someone's been cooking, you can walk in and you can smell the food. Or like if someone's grilling hamburgers or something outside, sometimes you might not smell it in the house, but once you open the door, you can smell all the hamburgers or the hot dogs or whatever it is they're cooking. In this case, they're saying that the aromas, these wonderful, delicious smells, are coming from the Christmas feast, all the food that people have made for Christmas. So their house smells pretty good right now. Smells like a lot of different kinds of Christmas food. But who can tell me? They want us to put a check mark if there's a compound predicate. Are they only telling us one thing about the house, or are they telling us two things about the house? Who can tell me? Is it one thing or two things? What are they saying about the house in the sentence? Alexa? Okay. Are they saying anything else? Well, aromas is the smells, but you said it's filled with the smell of food, right? Do they tell us anything else about the house? No. So is it one thing or two? Just the one thing. So this sentence doesn't get a check mark. Because even though they did use a really good word like aroma, they didn't have a compound predicate. They only told us one thing about the house. Now, if they said that the house was filled with wonderful aromas from a Christmas feast and it was decorated with sparkling lights, that would be a compound predicate. Because then they would have told us two things. Number one, that it smells really good in their house. And number two, that it was decorated. Since they only told us one thing, does not get a check mark. Number three, Aunt Janie usually brings presents and bakes Christmas cookies. Aunt Janie usually brings presents and bakes Christmas cookies. So our subject this time is Aunt Janie. Do they tell us one thing about Aunt Janie, or do they tell us two things about Aunt Janie? Who can tell me? Alexa, is it one thing or two things about Aunt Janie? Two things. The first thing, she brings presents. Second thing, she bakes Christmas cookies. So sentence 3 should also check mark. Because Aunt Janie is doing two things there. Or it says that she usually does. Usually brings presents. Usually Christmas cookies. So we have another sentence with a compound predicate. Okay. For Tuesday, they're asking us to find not verbs this time, but nouns. And instead of adverbs, we're looking for adjectives. So remember, nouns. Nouns are people, places, things, or nouns can also be ideas. Adjectives help us to describe those nouns, help us to get a better picture in our heads of what those nouns look like. Nouns could be something like color, it could be size, it could be number, it could be texture, like the way something feels. So it could use any of our senses. It could use sight, it could use sound, it could use smell or taste or touch to help describe that noun. Number 1 says the freezing snow crunched under our feet. The freezing snow crunched under our feet. Our noun should be snow. That's the thing. It's not a person, it's not a place, it's not an idea, but it is a thing. We know what snow is, even though we don't get a lot of it here in El Paso, but we know what it is. We saw some earlier this year. Now, how are they describing the snow? What word is telling me about the snow? Jadine? If it said crunchy, then yes, but it doesn't say crunchy, it says crunch. So they're telling us what the snow did. But I like kind of what you did here. You found snow and then look around it. If you look close by the noun, that's where you're going to find the adjective. Kai, what word is describing the snow?
Freezing.
Freezing. Freezing is the word that is describing the. Yes, Bella, if it's not loading for you, leave the call for a little bit, let it load and then come back. So in this case, freezing is our adjective. It's telling us about the snow. It's telling us how cold it is. We know that if you have ever gone outside when it's snowing and ever picked up like a handful of snow, that you know it's pretty cold. And if you try to play with snow for very long without gloves, start to like feel your hands and it might even start to hurt a little. If you're wearing gloves, you can play with snow a lot longer because it doesn't hurt your hands quite as much. Number 2, the scent of steaming apple cider wafted toward us. The scent of steaming apple cider wafted toward us. So our noun here is apple cider. I'm going to stretch out my line just a little. It's not apples, it's apple cider. And we can see it sometimes they sell it, I know, at places like Albertsons and Walmart, and I think they have some like at Food King. They have them usually anywhere you'd buy groceries. They have apple cider. Apple cider is not exactly the same as apple juice. If you've ever seen apple juice and apple cider next to each other, apple juice is usually like a really light yellow color, and apple cider is kind of like a darker yellow or sometimes even like a brown color. It's like apple juice with other stuff in it. They'll add things like cinnamon and other stuff. It tastes different. It's pretty tasty if you haven't tried it. But what are they saying about the apple cider? How are they describing it? Jaylene? How are they describing the apple cider, Jaylene? I'm not sure if your headphones got plugged in correctly or if there's something wrong with the plug, Jaylene. Let's see. Try again. There we go. It's steaming. So, Jaylene, if the apple cider is steaming, what do we know about the apple cider? It's a hot apple cider, so it's not cold, right? That would probably be really good to drink after playing with that really cold snow. You can come inside and hold on to like a warm glass of apple cider and it can warm up your hands a little bit. My sister's soft velvety dress was beautiful. My sister's soft velvety dress was. So they're talking about the dress. What adjective are they using to describe this dress? Bailey, what adjectives are they using? How are they describing the dress? Soft. Now, this one actually has some choices for us. Soft is one of the words, one of the adjectives they use to describe that dress, but it's not the only one. Who can tell me another one? So Bailey found one. They're soft, but there's actually two more adjectives that they can use or that they did use to describe the dress. Christopher, what's another adjective besides soft? Beautiful. We're working on week 14 Tuesday, Bella. So beautiful is another adjective that they're using to describe the dress, but there's one more. Nakai, do you see the last one? Oh, was your hand up from earlier? Okay, what do you think it is? Well, we said soft, we said beautiful, so there's one more though. Velvety. So velvety means that it feels very, very almost like fuzzy. So velvet is a kind of material. It does feel very, very soft, but it also feels a little bit fuzzy. They use it a lot of times for um like fancier dresses or for shirts or for different things. They sometimes they'll make them into curtains and things like that. If you have a I guess a good way to describe it would be like if you have a stuffed animal that has not really long fur, like sometimes with like stuffed dogs or things like that, they give them really long fur, like how some dogs have long fur. But if you have a stuffed animal that has very, very short fur, and if you run your hand on it, very soft, but it feels kind of somewhere between furry and fuzzy, that's what velvet is like. So velvety tells us about how the dress feels, soft tells us how the dress feels, and beautiful tells us how it looks. So with your circle, you could put it on soft, you could put it on velvety, or you could put it on beautiful. Any of those would work. So it doesn't matter which of those words you put it on, it could be any of them. All of those words are adjectives that describe the dress. Sentence 4. Melodic sounds of the organ drifted through the building. Melodic sounds of the organ drifted through the building. The noun in this sentence, sound. It's not a person, it's not a place, but sounds are a thing. And this sentence actually has, again, a couple of different adjectives, different words that they use to describe the sound. The melodic sounds of the organ drifted through. Oh, sorry, this one no. This one doesn't just has the one adjective. Sorry, I was still thinking. Alexa, what do you think? What's the adjective? Melodic. Melodic. So melodic means that it sounds very pretty. It sounds like a song. We know that sometimes like an organ is a lot like a piano, and we know that like any instrument, if someone were to just pick it up and start playing it, especially if they don't know how to play that instrument, whether it's a guitar or a piano or a harp or a trumpet, if you just pick it up and try to play an instrument, we know that it doesn't always sound good the very first time, especially if you don't know how to play it. It might sound a little bit strange, or it might just be you kind of pressing whatever buttons or keys or strings you can find, and it just kind of makes noise. But if they're telling us the sounds are melodic, then we know that whoever is playing this organ is somebody who knows how to play it and is pretty good at it. That they're making it sound very, very nice, which is pretty tough. I don't know if any of you know how to play an instrument, but it can be pretty tough to learn, especially the first time you try playing your instrument. Um, it doesn't always sound very good. Sometimes it just sounds like noises, or it might sound kind of like a song, but not a whole lot. Yeah, same thing, Christopher. Uh, Guitar, just like any other instrument, the first time you get it, you can't just pick it up and start playing and then you sound really, really good like everyone on the radio. It's not the way it works. The first time you pick up the guitar, it probably sounds kind of like a guitar, or maybe kind of like a song, but it doesn't sound the way you think it does. Yeah, playing instruments is tough. It's not something that people just uh all not everybody knows how to, because sometimes they pick it up and they think, oh, I'm gonna pick up the guitar, I'm gonna sit down at this piano and I'm gonna sound just like the songs I hear on the radio, or just like the songs that I hear on, you know, YouTube or anything like that. And they're not. You're not gonna start out super, super good at these things, and people kind of give up. They go, oh, I don't sound like that person on YouTube, I'm not gonna play. Or they give up, or they uh don't want to try for the amount of time it takes. They give up. What's up, Kylie? Mm, not right now, Kylie. Did you get the? I think you had gotten the show and tell, right? The last week we were here. Okay, so tell me tomorrow morning after we do the pledge and everything, and we'll do the show and tell then. Okay. Okay. All right, let's take a look at our sentence. Many people of African descent celebrate Kwanzaa in December. There's a few mistakes in the sentence. Who can find one mistake? Bella? Okay. To start out the sentence, we need a capital M. So the M in many should be capitalized. Besides capitalizing M in many, what's another mistake that we should fix in the sentence? Bailey? Need a period at the end of a sentence. So again, if it's a question, we put a question mark. If it's exciting or one shouting, we put an exclamation mark, but neither of those is happening, put a period. What's something else? Another mistake. Alexa?
D in December.
Capitalize the D in December. It's the name of a month. Kylie? So far, we capitalized the M in many, capitalized the D in December. We put a period at the end of the sentence. Those aren't the only mistakes, though. Do you see another one, Kylie? Something else that we need to fix or that we should fix? Oh, okay. Jadine?
Um, Portuguese African?
Very good. We need to capitalize African. It's an ethnicity and needs to be capitalized. Okay? Something else? No, December is okay. It just needs a capital letter, but we said that earlier. Oh, okay. But no, I mean, we did capitalize it. That does need to be changed, but something else, something that we haven't said yet. Bella? We need to capitalize the K in Kwanzaa. It's the name of a holiday, so it needs to be capitalized. So our sentence should be with a capital, many people of capital African descent. Come on. Celebrate with a capital Kwanzaa in capital December period. So a lot of capitalization mistakes in that sentence. Okay. Just like on the Monday page, this space here gives us a couple of sentences, and there are two words. Need to choose which word is the correct one to use. My two uncles video game. We have uncles, uncles apostrophe, or uncles, uncle apostrophe s. Are they talking about more than one uncle? Or are they talking about just one? Who can tell me which one would be the better choice for this sentence? One uncle or more than one uncle? Alexa, what do you say? More than one. Absolutely correct. They give us a hint at the beginning. They say my two. So they're letting us know that there's not just one uncle, there are two. We need more than one. The one baker's oven. We have bakers, Baker apostrophe S, or bakers, Bakers apostrophe. Is it just one baker, or is it more than one? Nakai, what do you think? One baker, more than one baker? Just one. Again, they kind of give us a clue at the beginning. The one baker. Only one of them. The one Christmas tree's lights. So we have trees, Trees, no apostrophe this time, or trees, Tree apostrophe. Which one is the correct one for this sentence? Is it trees, more than one tree, or does something belong to just one tree? Bella, what do you say? One tree or more than one? You're right. Again, at the beginning of the sentence, they told us there's only one Christmas tree. So I need to pick the one with the apostrophe. Only one tree. Lights belong to that tree. The last sentence, all the trees in the forest. We have Trees apostrophe and Tree apostrophe. Is it trees like more than one, or is it tree like just Bradley?
Tree apostrophe.
Apostrophe. And really, in this sentence, without them adding anything to it, the apostrophe doesn't even need to be there because they don't tell us anything belongs to the trees. But you're right. I still wouldn't pick this one because there's not just one tree. There's all the trees. So there needs to be more than one. The other hint is it's a forest. You can't just have one tree and call it a forest. It's not the same thing. That's just a one tree by itself. Like if you have a tree in your front yard, you don't have a forest in your front yard. You just have a tree. One. To have a forest, you need lots and lots of trees. Okay, what change is needed in this sentence, if there's any? So, looking for any kind of mistake they might have made. Our teacher read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" to us in December. A, change red to red. I don't hear a difference when I'm reading it, but there is a difference, and it's kind of a big one here. What change are they trying to make with answer choice A? Noah? Very good. The first kind of red is like with the book. The second kind is the color. B, change the to the. And I don't hear a difference, but if I look carefully, I can see a difference. Christopher, what's the difference? You're right. So the difference is with the first one, they have it lowercase, and the second one is capitalized. C, change December to December. Again, I don't hear a difference, but I can see one. Jaylene? What is the difference there, Jaylene? It's lowercase. So they're going from a capital December to a lowercase one. And D says to make no change. Now, Christopher, you said that you knew what the answer was. So which answer choice do you think is the best? Which one? B, change the to the. Why do you think we need to change the to a capital the? Okay, was the night before Christmas. It is the title of a book, but we've talked about titles before. We said really short words like the, like of. Unless it's the very first word of that title, it does not go capitalized. And if I look at this sentence, or sorry, this title, was the night before Christmas, the first word is was, and it's already capitalized. So the, even though it is part of the title, doesn't need to be capitalized. So I don't actually want to pick answer choice B, which leaves me with answer choice A, answer choice C, and answer choice D. Kylie, which one do you think we should do? A, C, or D? Which one? Answer choice D. This sentence is actually okay the way it is. Remember, especially when we talk about like a title of a movie, of a book, of anything like that, if they have words like of or like the or anything like that, unless that word is the very first word of the title, they go lowercase. A good example is like I've said it before, the Harry Potter books. The Harry Potter books, the whole titles are pretty long. Usually Harry Potter and something, right? Depending on the book that you're reading. If you look at those titles, because like I'll take Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, very first book. If you take a look at that title, it has words like of and it has words like the. Or sorry, it has the word the in it and the Sorcerer's Stone. But the is not the first word in that title. So the would actually stay lowercase in that title. Now, if it was a different book, like the book The Giving Tree, the is capitalized because the is the first word in that title. So because the is not the first word in the title, it stays lowercase. So there is the whole page for us to look at. I'll go ahead and leave mine up for a bit so that if you missed anything, if you need to fix anything, you can go ahead and do that now.